Okay, the audio quality on this is not going to be great because I am doing this on my laptop's microphone, mainly because it's a more of a stream of consciousness than my normal podcasts are. Okay, so the title of this podcast will be something like "The Blood-Soaked Rag of Nostalgia" or something equally concerted, because I've done podcasts before about the kind of people that are moving into this professional retro business area. I mean, people know my distaste for RGL. They know my distaste for the people behind the 64 Ultimate. Now, I will say straight away, because I'm against those companies does not mean I'm against their products. If people buy them and enjoy them, that's the point of those products. I'm glad if they work. That's all I care about. The people, though, behind them are the reasons why I can't be involved in that stuff and I can't buy those machines, because it would be a failing on my own personal morals. I'm not saying you should have the same morals as me. That's your choice. You do what you do. But I'm not. I will not support somebody who bullies mentally ill people, and I will not support somebody who is trying to create some kind of weird Steve Jobs-esque cult around what is effectively an already existing emulation machine. So when I say to you that I'm doing this because an even worse one's popped up, yeah, that's a hell of a statement, because again, people know my utter distaste for the people behind those products. So I got an email yesterday from somebody at work who knows what my predilections are for retro stuff, and and it was a brand new recreation of the Neo Geo AES. It looked like my dream product. It was not just an FPGA thing, although I will get into that because that's a bit contentious as well. I'll get into that in a minute. But it was like a recreation of the whole machine using actual silicon, and it'll be exactly the same. It will run. They're even redoing some of the games, so they're actually affordable rather than the ridiculous prices they currently go for on eBay. It looked great. It was £139. That's a great price point for this kind of thing. It can't be cheaper than that, really, because it's a very bespoke, very non-bespoke item, and not that many people buy it. So it was a great price point for what they're doing. Very excited. I'm very ready to put my money down. But as I always do, I do a bit of investigation first in any machine or anything that I get behind. And so my first step, as it happens, was posting the link into Chinny Vision's Discord, because there are some people there who take a lot of interest in these projects and stuff, and they do a lot of the groundwork for you. And it took about 10 seconds for Dad Gamer to come back and point me to a couple of places, and I found out the genuine horror. That company is owned... so the company that owns SNK now is a company called MISC Foundation. And they, if you do not know them, and you probably don't, they're designed to be relatively anonymous, are owned by the Mohammed bin Salman family. And if you don't know those people, do look that up. But, okay, I guess I got a hit allegedly in here, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Murdering bastards. So, yeah. This is something you can't ignore. This is a despot, effectively. Do I have to say allegedly? I don't think so. But anyway, and the fact that the money that you pay on this will go to that, you can't ignore that. It doesn't matter how deep your love for any kind of retro is, you've got to have moral standards somewhere. And supporting a regime like that, you can't. I mean, no, it's wrong on so many levels. I mean, I've been accused many times of trying to force my own morals on people, but I'm pretty sure this is one where I'm not being weird. I'm pretty sure this should be standard, right? I mean, it won't matter. People will buy it. it will end up in the hands of content creators, and they will extol the beauties of it and how they love it and stuff, because they won't bother doing research, or they'll do research, but the truck money will override their any kind of moral standing they may have had. And people will buy this because it is a pretty unique. It's a great product. This is why I'm so mad about this one compared to others, other than the fact that this is an even more horrific bastard at the back of it. But I'm so mad because this is the company that's got this right. Now, we'll get onto this. Okay, so they say that they're making all this silicon and stuff, and it's all going to be like modern silicon and things in there, but actual built the same way as the machine. Why is that important? It's because whilst people will say to you, FPGA, it's not really emulation. It is emulation. It's a very, very clever form of emulation, and done correctly, it has the potential of being pretty much exact to the main hardware. But it is still emulation. It still has issues. It can still be not exact to the hardware. This is the point. They're saying that they're creating anything, including the ASIC, so the custom chip inside the SNK. Now, the problem with this is that they say using modern techniques. Now, does that mean they're rolling up a fab to make these ASICs, or hiring another ASIC fab to make it? Or does this mean that they're actually replacing the ASICs with an FPGA? Because this is an important point. They say it's not an FPGA, but that might just mean they've got 68,000s running inside it. And that's an actual real thing with real RAM chips, rather than an FPGA being everything. So that's kind of important, because if the ASIC has been replaced with an FPGA, it's the same problem. It's the same. It could be a great machine, and it could be 100% cycle perfect. That's great, but then again, it might not be. And if there's any problems in the simulation, because they are simulations, it won't run quite right, and it's not a non-FPGA machine. It is an FPGA machine, because one thing being replaced by an FPGA makes it that, because it's no longer the exact hardware, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong, that's absolutely fine. Like I say, I have no problem with the C64 Ultimate, the hardware, absolutely great. I prefer real hardware, but that's because I like the hardware. That's the difference. I'm into the original hardware and getting it working and keeping it working and stuff. Not everyone's into that, and so FPGAs are a great thing to replace those with. Like the Mister is a great project. The Next is one of my favorite of all time Kickstarters. If I could ever afford one, I would probably get one, just because I think it's a great product. But this is, you can't lie about this stuff. And I don't know if they are. Honestly, I don't actually. Why am I even defending this? I don't care. They're shits. But if you're in the position, you're making something, and you're just trying to say it's not FPGA because not everything's FPGA, that's a lie still. You have to be honest with people. And if you're honest with people, they'll still buy it, and it will still work, presumably. So, that's what's wrong. But anyway, the fact is, we know this will sell. This will sell gangbusters. It will be incredibly depressing, because this is just a hobby. I have gone to, like, Chinny, for one, will, if you ask him about my approach to this hobby, he'll say I'm nuts and I just buy ridiculous amounts of crap from Japan all the time. And I couldn't argue with that. But it's still a hobby. If I could, I've had to sell my collection multiple times because other things have been more important, because life is more important. And I will almost certainly have to do it again. Eventually, I will be made redundant. I know this. This is the industry now. And my finances are not great. I push a lot of stuff into my projects, more than I should do. I don't get financing. I don't get money back from anywhere. It all comes from my pocket, and I give most of it away for free, as you know. To be honest, I probably wouldn't make any money if I didn't do that, so it doesn't matter. But the whole point of it is that my finances have never been great. I'm not great with money either. But it does mean that I will have to sell my collection again, almost certainly at some point. But that's fine, because it's a hobby, and real life is more important than hobbies. Unfortunately, that's the case. I'd be great if I could just do my hobbies forever and not worry about real life. I can't. I'm just a normal person. So, the fact that people will almost certainly be willing to sell out their morals for this, for a hobby, for a machine that, don't get me wrong, it's one of my favourites. I got an MVS upstairs. I do love it. Metal Slug on original SNK hardware is an unbeatable experience. King of Fighters is my favourite fighting series. I love it. It's not worth propping up murderous, despotic regimes. Quite simply. And even if you were going to say, well, they're just, this whole financing thing, they're not going to get any of this money. It's not going to go anywhere. They've got so much money anyway. This is a drop in the ocean for them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you sent 50 pence to some guy in prison for murdering a bunch of people, that's still morally wrong. Just because the guy wouldn't profit really from 50 pence, it's not right. That's not how you do stuff. But this will fall on deaf ears to most people because they will see this project. They will love it like I did. They will see its value like I did, and they will buy it. It's priced to sell because this company can afford it because they're being backed by an incredibly rich, murderous regime. And it will end up on 100 videos of people pushing it. And none of them will mention this because they will all know about this because a lot of people are talking about this part of this thing. Whenever anyone mentions the actual story and just doesn't mention it, they get reminded quite quickly the whole story. So they will know. They won't mention it because it will detract from them getting views. And again, I can't put my morals on other people. You've got two choices, I guess. You can not buy this, or you can prop up a murderous regime. And that's your choice at the end of the day. But that is what you're doing. Yeah. I'm depressed by this one because it was a great idea. I love the actual, if you could entirely divorce the product from the people around it, great, but you can't. Not if you have a conscience. Not if you have the merest trace of a moral, just a tiny moral strand in your body. You cannot back this project, but people will. People will buy it. I'm sure it's already had countless people put money in. That's the other thing as well. Okay, so the other thing I don't like about this project, and yeah, I realize we've gone through the big one. They're taking pre-orders, but they're taking money on pre-orders. That's not right. It's a pre-order. What about that doesn't ship? All that money comes back, does it? But the people already paid it. So what happens? It sits in your bank account. You get some interest rate from it. Then you just pay it all back, and nobody gets anything, but you get a little bit extra money. That's all I think whenever anyone does that. And I realise you look at things like Kickstarter, and that's kind of the same thing, but it's kind of not, because you're agreeing up front that that's how it works. A pre-order is a pre-order. It's a thing. It's literally, I've put my name down. When this comes out, I will then pay you money for it. Like Steam, I'm on the pre-order list for a Steam machine. If the ridiculous AI companies don't keep buying up all the equipment, so all the memory and graphics card manufacturers just throw all their stuff at them. If that eventually comes out, I'll then be charged, because that's how you're supposed to do pre-orders. Anyway, it's like a tiny drop in the whole moral quandary of this project. Anyhow, yeah, I realise again this is not the interview with John from Retrobytes. I'm shit. Let's be honest on getting things organised. I'm pretty sure he's done multiple podcasts since then. I advise you to go seek those out because he is a great guy. Well worth listening to. Knows his stuff. Eventually he will be on here, and other people will be on here, and we will talk to people, because that's better than me getting angry about stuff and doing a mental unspooling on here, because then I just get lots of horrible comments. I would assume with other people who are more popular than me talking and not doing horrible and not doing mental unspooling, I will get less horrible comments, and that'll be good for everyone. Anyway, if you've listened this far, well done and thank you. And I will see you either when I get around to making another video, or I do another podcast because something else has wound me up, or I finally arrange a proper one. Who knows? See you next time.